Hello there. What is going on, everybody? We've got a lot to talk about Armada. So much to talk about. So today was the big day for the FFG Armada live stream. And we're going to talk about a lot of the Rebellion in the Rim stuff. There's also some Superstar Destroyer news. I'm going to just tell you the biggest news. It is going to be available at Gen Con and then coming out the rest of the country August 2nd. So really soon, we're like 2 weeks away from the Superstar Destroyer. 2 weeks away. Just a little bit more than 2 weeks away. I don't know why I'm singing. You can tell I'm pretty happy. All right. Also, do want to remind you guys the Armada promo giveaway is going on still. I'm going to announce the winner of this before Gen Con, so you have just enough time. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on one of my Armada videos, and as well as the regular gift card giveaway. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on any one of my videos. You can enter both of those at the same time, as I'm also giving away the promos on Patreon as well. So if you're a patron, you've got an extra chance to win. I have 2 sets of those, so a patron's going to get some, and then somebody else can also get some too. All right, or if you really want to double your chances, hop over to Patreon and help support the channel. You definitely help me out, because going to places like Gen Con is expensive, and I do it for you guys. But I enjoy it too. It's not only for you guys. It's kind of cool to go be able to grab a Superstar Destroyer. All right, so it will be available. But the thing is, this isn't a really early release. This is just like a day early. Right, like a day early. So that's still pretty cool. All right, so let's talk about everything. We had the live stream today. Michael and Brooks were playing each other, and small 200-point format. So that's cool. We did have the SSD in the background, so that was pretty cool. Big box, and I'm getting all blurry. There we go. All right, so they showed us the mat. Honestly, I won't go into too many details of specifically in the campaign. There are some details we will talk about for the campaign, though, because in a lot of ways it is going to mirror a lot of the things we saw in the Corellian conflict. There's a lot of, you can hyperspace out. There's some carryover. Some interesting details here, though, is you're not going to be able to start with any uniques. So that's pretty interesting. Like unique upgrades, like things like Demolisher, which this campaign is primarily built for a 200-point fleet. So it's going to be like 200-point battles, but you will be able to grow those, I think, up to about 300 points. So you can earn, and so that's one of the benefits of winning at a system is you're going to unlock specific things. Like if you win at Bespin versus Hoth, you're going to be able to unlock different things, different types of upgrades. You're going to see there's different upgrade symbols on those maps. So it means a victory at a specific place is better than a victory at a different specific place, depending on what you want to win. It also tries to combat the runaway leader situation with, even if you lose, you get a bonus experience beyond, you get an XP for just being in a battle, but also if you lose, you get an experience for losing a battle, and the idea is that you'll gain XP for losing as well. And if you win, you'll also gain XP, and you get your, maybe the better choice of an upgrade, but also, depending on how well you win, more XP you will get as well. So if you just barely win, it's not going to be really all that helpful for you. As opposed to, having a fantastic win, which kind of does mirror the flavor of Armada, so that much is pretty cool. They showed off the Pergles, in the particular one that they were doing this thing where Pergles were moving from objective to objective, and you kind of had to escort them. Now, you can't kill the Pergles. I thought maybe you'd be able to just shoot them and blow up space whales and stuff like that. That's not going to be in the cards here, but I've got 2 actual Pergo miniatures from Mel Miniatures, so I'm going to it'll be fun to move those around and have them on there. So that was pretty cool. They were using this new one called Hyperspace Migration, so you actually set up 2 points, and then they kind of move before them. First player and second player take, they alternate on who gets to move which one, and it was all right. It was kind of cool. It seems like a different, moving back and forth seems kind of cool. This one could play out some different ways. And then, like in Corellian Conflict, your green ones are going to be those objectives that specifically are used for only within the campaign, whereas your normal objectives you can use for regular games. There were a lot of good questions asked, a lot of interesting questions, and I'm probably going to forget a lot of them. You only get 1 upgrade on each ship at the start. I'm looking over my notes right now. You only get 1 upgrade on each ship at the start. When you're playing these 200-point games, your commander's actually free. You'll upgrade your commander. They talked about some cool commander abilities. We've got, you're going to have this sheet that you're going to track everything on, and you're going to write down your commander's abilities on there. There's different tiers of them. So, Michael's ability was Master Navigator 2. It was something to the effect of each ship gains a nav token. And then when you do a nav command, you can also... It was unclear because it sounded like you said, when you do a nav command, I can I can change the last available yaw by 1 or adjust my speed by 1. And I'm like, well, that's worse than a nav command, because I could do, in theory, both with a nav command, but I could change any yaw. It doesn't have to be the last yaw. And I believe that was in addition to the benefits that you'd get of a nav command. It wasn't super clear on the exact mechanics of that, but that's fine. It's good enough for a preview, because if it's enhancing the commands that you'd already normally do, and especially with nav being as cool as that, you know. So then there's different. Basically, they talked about the flavor of the different ways you can upgrade your custom commander, which will be free. But it sounds like there's like at least 4 different like schools of flavor, and they're going to synergize with the different commands that you can dial in, which is pretty cool. And that seems like a good, streamlined kind of way to deal with custom commanders. And now, some people also ask, well, can I use these in normal games? Well, not in tournament games. But there's really nothing to stop you from just taking a normal 400-point game, or you know, like just a normal casual game, and also running those custom commander rules. So, you know, for casual games, you will be able to use your custom commanders. Just don't get too used to it, because you'll want to stick with the tournament format if you do plan on playing in sanctioned play, organized play, or in a tournament or something like that. So while it's something you can do, and nothing's stopping you from having fun, and this game is all about fun, if you want to practice for tournaments and stuff, then I wouldn't get too accustomed to the whole custom commander thing. But, you know, and that's how I play most of my games. But every once in a while, I'll do a fun scenario. You know, I can't use Deep Space Nine, you know, like I do in my big custom scenarios if I'm practicing for a tournament, right? And another one that was pretty cool that Brooks had was Concealment, was an ability that was like a combination of the Admonition title and also the Imperial Officer that, you know, if you're at range 1 of an obstacle. Basically, if you're at range 1 of an obstacle, you can spend a defense or discard a defense token to cancel a die. And you can do that for his whole fleet, which was pretty cool, and he used that pretty well. But yeah, so definitely check out the FFG live stream if you want to watch the whole thing. But I'm just going to bring you some of the highlights of some of the new things that were spoiled. And this was the back of the sheet. You can also track your fleet on there. But 4 new ship titles. 4 new ship titles is all we're getting. I thought there was going to be a lot more ship titles than this, but it is only 4. But it's a cool 4. It's the Victory, the Nebulon, the CR90, and the Raider. Now we're going to look at the CR90 one a little bit. It's a Liberator, and basically it's going to give you an extra icon, but it has some kind of limitation on you can't gain it if, we don't know what it is. Somebody in chat speculated that maybe you wouldn't be able to gain it if you already had it, but I don't think that's the case, because then you wouldn't be able to use it for anything. So, like, in other words, if it were gain an extra officer, you can't gain it if you already have an officer. Well, that's silly. It's probably some other type of restriction. So, but not enough there to really know. But it's going to give you some extra bonus, which sounds pretty interesting. In the artwork, it looks like it's running away from an Architans. So maybe it's a support team. Maybe it gives you an extra support team. I mean, that might not be too OP. I don't know. I'm going to have to... I'll spend some time and theorize what would be the coolest thing you could give a CR90. I would love an extra turbo laser upgrade on a CR90, but that might be a little OP with Jaina's Light and TRC, and then maybe putting enhanced armament on top of that might be a little bit too much. I don't know, but then again, you're paying for it, and we don't know what that title costs, too. If it's a 20-point title, then, you know, sure, it would be balanced because nobody would take it. That'd be way too much. But... I don't know. I haven't really theory crafted all of the possibilities yet. Vanguard looks cool. I like the artwork on that one. Harrow looks cool too. Actually, I like the artwork on all of them. I love all of the art they commissioned for this game. But then Corvus is cool. Corvus is a really cool one. This is, it's just, the only thing is, like, the little part of me was hoping that the artwork on Corvus would have been the New Republic version, but that wouldn't really make sense because this is how it looked in the Empire. This is also a great piece. And after deploying fleets, you may redeploy this ship within your deployment zone. You can totally redeploy the ship wherever you want. You can change its speed when you do that. You can put it wherever. It's only 2 points. Totally lets you mess with people. Very cool. And I think this one would be really fun to fly with the Super Star Destroyer. We are drastically outmaneuvered. You know, like this is it's almost like a little bit of like a little hint of that Radis flavor that the Imperials can get. So that one is pretty cool. I like that. We got the Auxiliary Shields team. This is a cool little support team, and this is one of those things that makes me think maybe that CR90 is gaining an extra support team, because when you do an engineering command, you may treat the maximum shield values of your right and left hull zones as increased by 1 when you recover or move shields to those zones. So basically, you can kind of buff up, like if especially like a Jaina's Light CR90, flying this way, could be like, you know what, I'm only facing you on this way, so I'm going to send, instead of just having 2 shields on the side, I'm going to make sure I have 3 shields on that side. It does have the cap, you can't push it to exceed 4. So, but I mean, this is going to be good for them small ships. This would be good for an Architons. This would be good for a CR90. Granted, most of the time, I think Architons are going to want engine techs, but CR90 could use this one too. And CR90, I don't think needs engine techs, although they're crazy with engine techs. I don't think CR90 needs engine techs as much. I think this is a good option for a CR90. That's kind of what makes me think the CR90 title gives it an extra support team. And we got this one, linked turbo laser towers. It's beautiful. Look at that. Look at that picture. Ooh, I'm salivating. It makes me hungry. Not that I would want to eat that, but if you made me a cake that looked like a turbo laser, that would be cool. All right. You may re-roll 1 red die in your attack pool all the time, so that's cool. So and at 7 points for an all-the-time re-roll, which in theory also works. Not in theory, but this would also work against squadron attacks. But here's another thing. While attacking the first squadron during your activation, there's a lot of wording here. The wording here is really cool because this is a super cool card. You may add 2 dice of any color to your attack pool. If you do, you cannot declare additional squadron targets for this attack. So this is ideal on a ship that wants to attack a single squadron. So Callus against like maybe that one. I mean, I don't think you need to put this with Callus, and also this isn't faction restricted, so you can put this anywhere. Of course, you have to have the turbo laser option, and I think ideally this. Well, I don't know about ideally. There's so many options. This is just an all-around cool card. It's obviously not going to be good against a huge TIE swarm. But you don't have to trigger that ability. Because you can still use this for all kinds of other stuff. I think this is going to be really, really good on a Quasar. But I'm pretty sure Quasar can't take this. So, as a matter of fact, I don't even remember. Off the top of my head, I can't even remember right now if a Quasar can take that. So I'm pulling it up right next to me. And sure enough, Quasars cannot take that. So this will be good on a Superstar Destroyer, which if you're taking a Superstar Destroyer variant that happens to have a red anti-squadron die, because this is going to give you a reroll for all of those. Now don't use the second part, but just use the free reroll for every red die, for 1 red die in your attack pool and this is, you can do this each time you're making an attack. So this is, if you're going one of those anti-squadron Superstar Destroyer titles and you're running something crazy like, I don't know, which title we want to run for that? Like somebody like Annihilator that already gives you a reroll. I mean, that would be really cool. Linked turbo laser towers and Annihilator together. It's sick. That's just sick. And then when you've got just that 1 ace left, you're like, all right. I've only got Shara Bay left? Okay, no problem. You know what? Now I'm rolling everything with Callus and Annihilator and Link Turbo Laser and Concentrate Fire and, 17 dice on your 1 squadron. Not quite 17, but that's cool. You got Weapons Battery Techs. This one's kind of interesting. I like this one. 5 points is not too bad for a weapons team. While attacking a ship, you may change 1 die with an accuracy to a crit. So now you can't use this to turn them black dice into the super dice, but you can use this for red dice or blue dice. And this one, the setup in the campaign was really to help the blue crits. Obviously, it's really good for blue crits. This was used with a Raider 2, which I have done before. You can kind of get a similar effect with Screed, but you have to spend a die to get it. This one is an option that means you don't have to spend a die. You don't have to lose a die because you can just change, but it does require you get that accuracy. You can combine this with something like H9 turbo lasers on certain ships to kind of really have some shenanigans and have all kinds of dice changing. But I kind of like the Warlord title a little better. If you're looking at putting this on a victory, I would just, maybe if you run Warlord and then you have another one, you can't run Warlord on that one, maybe you put this one there. You got some options, but I mean, Warlord's better because you can kind of end up making that double red side, so, But this is cool. This is a nice little upgrade. It gives you some options. I think it's solid. It doesn't have, it doesn't have a big drawback to it, and I like that. It's just like, hey, every time you can use this twice a turn, right? So that's cool, and I like that. This one I freaking love. Reserve Hangar deck. when and I'm sorry that they're all sideways. For some reason, FFG the camera just said, hey, let's turn everything sideways. So this way, all kinds of people like Crabbok out there have to take them and then crop them back this way. I didn't do that, so the joke's on you guys. I'm showing them sideways too. Like, whatever. Anyway, reserve hangar deck. Reserve hangar deck. When a non-unique squadron with swarm at distance 1 to 5 is destroyed, you may discard this card. If you do, you may set that squadron's hull points to 2 and put it back on. At distance 1, you're gonna have to toggle it. But the thing is, this is what I love about this. Even a TIE fighter, okay? Now there's a couple. You have options for swarm. You got jump masters, which are 12 points, right? You got TIE fighters, which are only 8, but they have to be non-unique too. So you can't do like Dagger Squadron or whatever. You got Z95s, which are 7, but your TIE interceptors. I think this is really good for interceptors. They're 11 points. But I mean, honestly, it's really good to save your jump master. This is really good to save your jump master, especially if you've only got that one jump master. For 3 points, you're getting 12 or 11 back if you do that. It's a no-brainer. And the cool thing about this is they confirm if you bring it back with only 2 health remaining, that's half health for a jump master. That's 2/3 health for a TIE fighter or a TIE interceptor. You are not losing the points of the destroyed ship because you're putting, or the destroyed squadron, because you're putting that squadron back on the board. You don't lose these points. That's huge. It gives you free points. I feel like, and they did also confirm that with every non-unique card, every non-unique upgrade here, you'll get at least 2 in the box. So you'll have probably at least 2 reserve hangar decks. This is one I could see running like 4 of if you had enough ships, and then just running like 1 TIE interceptor. And then just be like, I got actually 4 TIE interceptors. You just can't kill my one. Every time you try and kill it, I'm bringing it back. Oh, and you kill it again, it's going to be countering you. It's just going to be this. It's just going to be this going crazy. Like, you can't stop it. Granted, you have to discard this card. But if you run 4 copies of this, that's a lot of reinforcements. You know what I'm saying? Like, that could be kind of cool. That could be pretty cool. I don't know. We'll have to play with it. We'll have to play with it and see. They showed the stickers that you're going to put on the mat, similar to the other thing. And this is the big deal. This right here is the big deal. Because they made an accident. They made an accident, and I figured out a whole bunch of stuff. So we're going to talk about this, because they were just meant to show you some of the, like, and one of the cardboard tokens had come out. They're meant to just show you some of the cardboard that you'd be getting. But they made the mistake of spoiling every single squadron here. Every single squadron. So, granted, we don't have 100% of the information because we already had Lando and IG-88. So I'm not going to talk too much about Lando and IG-88. I will talk a little bit, though. So I'm going to start with the top left because we've got the Rebel squadrons on the top, the Imperial squadrons on the bottom. Top left, we've got Lando. They did confirm that if it's a unique squadron and the name of the ship is italicized, then you can't duplicate it. So that counts as it being a unique ship. And I think that's actually technically a rules reference update, but it makes sense. You can't have 2 Millennium Falcons, but you can have 2 IG-88s because it's the IG-2000B. It's a separate ship. So that's the only update we have for Lando and IG-88. There's more on those. I already covered Rebellion in the Rim before, so I'm not going to talk too much about Lando or IG-88 because I've already talked about them. I'll probably talk about them maybe a little bit more when it comes closer to actually flying them. They did not confirm if this will be at Gen Con or not. They kind of soft confirms that it'll be coming later, though, because they said there will be preview articles up for this in August, which means it will not actually be out August 1st, because if there's going to be preview articles in like mid-August, why would you release preview articles after your global release date, right? Like, that doesn't pass the common sense for me. So this is probably going to be late August release. That's my guess. We'll see. But that's cool. We can play with the Super Star Destroyer for a little bit, and then everybody gets reinforcements. And there's going to be some stuff in here that will do really nice things against the Super Star Destroyer. So Lando, we already know. The next one is going to be, that's Mark Martin, inspired by Matt Martin. So that's pretty cool. But Mark Martin, who is from Star Wars Rebels, he is the Sato's nephew, and it's Iron Squadron at the second one. And he looks like he has grit and rogue. So, pretty good. Pretty good. I think the 2400s didn't have grit. So now we don't know what his printed ability is going to have. The next one in our 4 health squadron, which was the spot of the HWK. Somebody said, well, that's Kyle Katarn. No, that's Kanan. The artwork is clearly Kanan Jarrus. And I don't know why they put Kanan in there. I guess because they couldn't use Kyle Katarn. You know, it's like certain things were already in production when Disney bought FFG and stuff, or not bought FFG, when Disney bought Star Wars. But I don't think they were allowed to use Kyle Katarn. So they said, hey, let's use Kanan Jarrus. Yeah, all right, cool, let's use Kanan Jarrus. All right, so Kanan Jarrus is in an HWK. And his abilities are really cool. Because at first I was just like, oh, okay, that's Kanan. And so you look at those abilities. He's got Assault, which no Rebel squadrons have. There's the Mandalorian. I mean, because, well, the one crew boarding team has it, but you're not going to use that. Assault is much better on a squadron, especially in certain builds. And the thing is, it's going to be so easy to use on him because he's got Cloak, so he gets the free movement even if he's engaged, and Rogue. Cloak and Rogue. So Kanan's going to be, basically, he'll be able to make a solo attack run against a Super Star Destroyer, denying their ability to to fly and to hit, to get those commands. Like, that's nuts. Like, I think Kanan's going to be the superstar for the Rebels to go up against the Super Star Destroyer here. That's cool. And then in the top right, it looks like that's the Skurg pilot, but I do not know who that is. I do not know. That's a mystery person for me. I cannot quite make it out. Very big shoulder pads, small head. It looks like a Space Marine. I'm not 100% sure. But you know what? Some forensic activity, I'm sure somebody will figure it out. Somebody has probably already figured it out before I publish this video, so let me know in the comments who you suspect is flying the Skurg. It may be somebody from Legends, but more likely it's going to be something canon, so I have to kind of look up who flew Skurgs in canon, and I just don't have the time to do that yet. I don't want to talk about this right away. Anyway, so our Skurg pilot has Grit and Bomber, which is good, but does not have Rogue, much like the Skurg. So it looks like it's a standard Skurg pilot. So this is going to be one that really boils down to whatever their pilot ability is. Now we're going to move down to the bottom. And yes, you guessed it. That's Hondo Onaka in the Fire Spray. We know that because of the 6 health, right? The health usually never changes between these squadrons, and that's how I'm knowing which one is which, because of the number of health. All right, 7 on the Falcon, 4 on the HWK. You know, that's just there's only one way it can go because there aren't any duplicates that have the same amount of health here. And they did confirm that these are all from the Rogues and Villains pack. They confirmed that earlier. I think showing this might have been an accident. So we're just breaking it down for you. But yeah, Hondo looks totally pretty good. His printed abilities on there look super, super solid. So Hondo has Grit, Bomber, and Rogue. So Bomber and Rogue already something you expect from the Fire Spray, but the Grit makes him harder to stop. We don't even know what his name, his written ability is going to be. It's something else that's probably going to make it even nastier when you can't stop him. So Hondo is going to be so cruel. Wouldn't surprise me if he did something kind of similar to the way his officer slot works, where you can gives out tokens or something. Maybe he takes tokens away. Maybe he does the opposite. Maybe you can buy him off and stop him. It's like, I'll crit you unless you take my space hamster. Go for the eyes, boo! Go for the eyes! Something like that. Again, I get carried away because I'm excited. All right, next one. To the right of Hondo, I actually can't make out who this is. It's another mystery pilot in our YV666. I'm not sure if it's a droid or an alien, to be perfectly honest, but I'm sure somebody else. There's enough people that have been aboard the YV666 in shows like the Clone Wars and stuff that I'm sure we can figure it out. It might be a droid because I'm pretty sure Bosk had some droids aboard his Houndstooth, but we'll have to see. But anyway, they have Rogue and Grit. Now, this YV666 does not have the icon for Heavy. So that is actually pretty interesting. So that's kind of cool. I like that they don't have Heavy. All right. So then moving on, it's IG. We already talked about IG. So then we're going to go to the bottom right, pilot. That's another mystery. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be Manaru or if that's just a new Jump Master pilot altogether, but that's our Jump Master. Now, this is a drastically different Jump Master than we've seen before because it has the icons for Grit and Rogue. So, again, flying around, harder to tie up, but does not have the signature Jump Master abilities. No Intel and no Swarm. So that is very interesting. I'm very curious what that pilot ability is going to be on that Jump Master and why Grit and Rogue were more appropriate for a Jump Master as opposed to the Hallmark, Intel, and Swarm. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about it. That was a really cool live stream. We got a lot of really cool information. 200-point format. You can play that in normal games. You can play in the campaign. The campaign looks fun. A lot of stuff that you can use in the regular game. There's a lot more cards that they did not spoil, which means there's even more news. We've got Super Star Destroyer launching in 2 weeks. Then we've got preview articles for this. in-flight report, they did confirm they're announcing the new ships, or they said new ships. I don't know if it's the 2 new, or maybe there's going to be more than that. Probably the 2 new ships that they've hinted about will finally be revealed at the in-flight report. A lot of cool stuff, and yeah. So how about all you Armada guys out there that are like, hey, did you guys forget about Armada? No, it's still out here. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I also want to thank my patrons, especially. You guys definitely help make this possible. If you're interested in joining the team and getting an extra chance to win those promos, there's links for all that stuff in the description below. You can follow me on social media, or if you're going to be at Gen Con, come over and say hi. I'll probably be at the FFG booth most of the time. All right, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.